here. This one was cutting it close. Almost missed at 12:30. I think I made it by 12:30. All right. Let's see here. Well, welcome everyone. This is another Beyond the Map's Edge. This is a live show. We're going to talk about Justin M. Posey. We're going to talk about the treasure hunt. First, B&H, my man, number one. Just got you, Rose. Number two on the scoreboards, number one in our hearts, always. Hey, Treasure Pack, how you guys doing? We're almost to the end of the book, so it's funny because I was going to say, all right, we're here at the penultimate chapter there or something like that, and then boom, now there's two more. So rest assured we'll do this format for at least another couple weeks. I haven't quite decided if what the format will be going forward after this. I still want to do BTME stuff. I do have a Boots on the Ground that kind of coincides with the ending of the old chapters plus the two new stories. And I think Justin even calls them chapters, right? So I'm okay with calling them chapters. Even though they're not labeled chapters, I'm pretty sure in his announcement, he calls them chapters. So if he calls them chapters, we're going to call them chapters. I'm going to stop beating myself over saying chapters, all right? But yeah, so the new the Boots on the Ground is like scheduled for like early mid-November, and that should coincide with wrapping this up. So the perfect plan would be I find the gold, and then that's how we move on to the next one. But we'll see what happens. Let's go back to the chat. Bringer of Rain, what's up, Froggy? Make it rain, steal rain. All right, cool. Embrace fleeting moments. Hey, how you doing? And Teresa's Circle of Life. Tarot. Hey, what's up, Teresa? All right, so we're going to cover the story or chapter. It doesn't matter now because Justin says chapters. The Dubious Decision, which used to be a standalone, right? And by standalone, I mean there's certain stories in the book that have pairs. Like he'll cover a topic two times, 4 times, or even 6 times in the case of Victoria Peak. This one used to be a standalone. Now it's got a pair. So this story, The Dubious Decision, will end up pairing nicely with the new Tyler story that's released, right, with this driving. And if you look, so I'm pretty sure the Legal Lowdown is always meant to be the last one. So I haven't figured out where the original place to slip those 2 chapters in, but the way they're released with the Tyler story and the Bubble story, if you slip it in at the end of the book before the Legal Lowdown, the Dubious Decision now becomes one of the doubles, right, because it's paired. So Jay, oh, hey, thanks. Oh, you know what? Okay, I gotta show this. This is funny. Let me this will be a little field trip. Hopefully not to get too much of the mess behind. So I don't know. I might be. This is where I guess vanity comes into play. I might be taking this beard thing a little too seriously, but it does have an end date. It will come off after TreasureCon, but I know I said I wasn't gonna do all the beard oils, but look what I got. I gotta show this. This I thought is pretty cool. I justify this as saying it's part of my pirate costume. Look at this. Ha! I don't know. Having fun with it. So I don't know. This is my latest toy. It costs like $4, so I thought I'd have fun with it. All right. Yeah, no shave November, October, and December, and early January. Just no shave winners is what it's coming down to. Thomas Shelbourne. She said what? Yeah, you got me, man. I'm gonna leave that up because that's pretty funny. You got me in that first half. I was like, oh man, thank you so much. I'm not gonna delete that one. That's pretty funny. All right. Okay. So Dubious Decision. Enough. Wind up here. So, the Dubious Decision. The half-naked man stumbled out of the Canadian wilderness like a modern-day Tarzan on a budget vacation. So the very introduction to this story is just, it's pretty, I think, different from everything else. And the first time I read it, the way I justified that is saying, okay, you know what, this is a shift in like narrative tone. This shift is because he wants you to get something out of this story. He wants you to get the safety, right? And on the surface, it makes sense, right? This is a story that's about one of his best friends that went out, probably ill-advised during a potentially dangerous weather situation into a really remote area, and ended up getting in trouble and having needed to be rescued, right? So you read this on the surface, and this story is immediately followed by like a lot of the safety stuff. it's pretty big, available now, and that's why this is in there, right? Now, ever since then, I reread this story a bunch of times. It's like, okay, well now there's a bunch of stuff in here that are clues. There's some stuff in here that I'm going to call out, right? That's what I'm going to do when I'm going to read this. I'm not just going to say, hey, the story doesn't mean anything. We're still going to read it. We're still going to call out the important things. It's just my first interpretation, and actually my most recent interpretation, is that this is still a mainly safety focused, right? It's not even 1/3 safety. This is like 90% safety. Maybe you could apply a little bit of the landscapes described here, and we'll call that out. But we'll see. All right. Let's see. Scrolling up. Look at Chin Dude. The longer. Actually, you know what? Bring a Rain, that does make sense. I know we're distracting a lot of treasure talk here, but I haven't had it this long in probably 4 years, maybe. And so it does. I finally got past the itchy part, I guess. Hey, Mom, how you doing? I get my book this weekend. Exciting, very exciting, man. Very exciting. Bring a Rain. Okay, so let's go ahead. This is a very attention-grabbing headline, right? Half naked is the second and third word out of here. Half naked. Modern day Tarzan, right? Really scratched, shivering, all those, and then underwear and flip-flops. Like, that's very attention-grabbing. Very shift from seemingly the rest of the writing style. And here we have the Wild Canadian Border Goose Chase. All right, so there is a. I might share. We'll see how I feel at the end of this analyzation of this story. I might share where my current boots on the ground is headed. Goose does play a role into it, which I thought was funny because, you know, duck and geese, and goose is only mentioned I think twice in the book, and this is one of them. So we have describing the scene here for those of you who don't have the book. Is the story starts out with his best friend Tyler. You've now seen him on the X interview. You've seen him on the Emma and Jam interview. You've seen him on the Ava question and answer. He had gone, and he describes this story even more in more detail. He believed that the forced fence solve led him to do some like back and forth cross border shenanigans, hijinks, Angzar, who knows, and he went out there because he believed so strongly in it, like really toward like the winter time in a really ill-advised weather situation, ended up having to get rescued, right? So the solution defense poem is not just a riddle, it's a whole border crossing extravaganza, right? And so that's, whenever I think to myself, man, what are the odds that Justin remembered Tyler's exact quotes in those moments? I mean, you have Tyler as a resource to go and analyze and bring it up, but to put an exact quote like that in there, I'm like, all right, this is something that could be a clue, right? The whole border crossing extravaganza, especially all the emphasis on borders in the Camarones Calientes chapter. And so with that, I'm like, okay, a sentence like this, I'm looking at this as maybe this is what you have to do in your final location, cross borders, and maybe it's not state borders, maybe it's so my search partner, my father, was really big on the idea of a wilderness area inside of another area. For us in Arizona, it was a wilderness area inside of a national forest. And so we as we were hiking and looking, we kept talking about borders and crossings and boundaries and checkpoints and checksums, and that came up in the conversation a lot. That was one of his favorite interpretations of it. He really liked the idea of you're at a place, you get off, your boots on the ground, but you cross another border. And so the area that we're looking in northern New Mexico, it has that, right? It has it's a national forest, and then beyond that is a wilderness area. Okay, so we're at bottom of 206. The solution defense poem, which some people are saying, okay, they're connected. So if they are connected, it's not just a riddle, it's a whole border crossing extravaganza. So you could apply that to whatever solve you have for Justin. But here we have Justin saying, I groan inwardly, right? So this is his interpretation to that. And some people have Justin as the I in the poem. And so if he's representative of us, are we groaning at this? Are we groaning because it doesn't make sense and it's wrong? Are we groaning because it's one of those things that's right there in front of you in plain sight? All right. Message retracted. Message retracted. I got my book this weekend. Oh, I get my book. Alexis, how you doing? Morning Froggy. The chest is in Mexico. Got it. New Mexico. New Mexico. I don't know. I'm kind of going to the New Mexico because I'm already kind of going to be in a certain area. I was already committed there. I'm not. It's tough. I'm not as confident in this solve in New Mexico as I was for Arizona. But I think that's just because I think the poem is harder than when I first thought. I was pretty confident in Arizona, and I like this solve better than my Arizona solve. So on theory and paper, I should like this location better, but I don't. It's just I've seen so many good solves. I've seen too many people come up with great explanations, and it pan out empty. So, uh, cook sushi. It's not that long ago. Not that long ago. Uh, Yep, Michael, it's a good area, man. It's a good area. Gina said hi. Hey, how you doing? All right, we're moving off. So then they talk about the actual destination, right? And we talk about a little bit of why this journey might make Justin groan, right? So you have to go to a glacially fed body of water. It's straddling a border between Alberta, British Columbia, and Montana. One leg requires boating, right? And so if you're taking the question and answer where Justin said, hey, the exact location for the treasure is not in the poem, but you might find some clues, and this is a paraphrase, in the locations described. You could take this and say, oh, hey, this is Justin describing a location. I'm looking for a glacially fed body of water straddling a border, and one leg of my journey might even require alternate form of transportation, right? That could be your takeaway from this chapter. And so then we talk about Justin. He was overexerted. He had pending family commitments, so he's not going to dive headfirst into one of Tyler's schemes. Here's a couple more details on why, and the details are kind of the way they're described. It's you're reading this and you're like, okay, I'm not looking for a treasure hunt. This is Justin telling us why the Tyler thing went wrong and all the foreshadowing that led to the ultimate him needing to be rescued, right? But in hindsight of if we're looking through stories for landscapes, this could be Justin detailing the landscape the treasure's in, right? A series of forest roads that would take you within a few miles of a border. You have to then hike. There was a recent fire, right? So all those are kind of Justin in the book describing Taylor's location, but it could apply to where you're going. I don't have to Rose Calbo, Big Homie Sosa. What's up? Nice logic. Yeah, I mean it's certainly a path, right? I don't know if it's the most logical. It's certainly one of the ways to get there. Will he put it in a place where he once had to be rescued from? I don't think so. I think that if it was in a very dangerous and remote spot like that, that would kind of lead to a little bit of criticism on the back end. So I don't think it's anything this remote. But this is such a vague description, right? Forest roads within a few miles of a border, then you have to hike. Like that's pretty vague description. So here's another thing with oscillating, right? Oscillating metronome, going back and forth. We're looking for rhythm. This is a direct quote from the book. I spent those initial days oscillating between hope and concern. Again, we call that out. We want to pay attention, not just because of oscillating, but because of hope, right? Because hope is a poem word. So my general rule is anytime melon, what's up, Mac? Hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you. I like that. Thanks for the super chat, buddy. $2. Really appreciate it, man. I really do. I like that whenever there's a poem word, we kind of stop and call it out and see how it could apply, because that's what Justin says when asked for advice, right? It's always important to remember he's been asked two times, a third indirectly. But if you were in our shoes, what would you do, right? And one of them is when you get stuck in the poem, you turn back to the doc in the book to see if you can get unstuck. So I think if you're stuck in the poem, you're at a certain line in the poem, so it makes sense that when you go back to the book, you would look for words that kind of mimic the line that you're stuck at, right? That kind of makes sense to me. Yes, I am, DW. I am surprised the box hasn't been found yet. And I am looking forward to JCB's 1-year anniversary interview with Treasure Hunt With Us. So I think they got that exclusive, and I did hear that Calazar has announced that they also have one coming up. But the 1 year is, I think, what Treasure Hunt With Us. And in my mind, if he's going to announce anything significant, it's going to be at that 1 year. So you're going to want to make sure you tune in to Treasure Hunt with us, the 1 year special episode there. Here we go. Another one. I always analogies and metaphors, especially ones that are like really strong, pay attention to in my mind. So he talks about his meteorologist friend Rick, which, with Rick, and he talks about whose weather predictions held the gravitas of a Supreme Court ruling, delivered a chilling forecast. Right? I don't know. That line always seems to stand out to me. There's not too much in this book which is political, which I think, it makes sense. I think that's intentional. I don't think there's really a political way to solve this. I have been looking for any kind of references to the American government with that Declaration of Independence. I believe that's what's been identified in Declaration of Independence. That's in the back of the background, right? You can buy it on the Saddleback website. That's hanging up in the back of his Netflix background, like right behind the back right of the monitors. So I've been kind of looking for anything that could tie into the American government. I had a really loose theory one day about the three branches, the foot of three. What was it? Legislative, executive, congressional. Did I get that right? No, judicial, legislative, and executive. Those are the three branches. So that was it was really wild. Didn't really go anywhere. But I'm always on the lookout for anything government related, and so this one is Supreme Court, which would be judicial. But again, delivered a chilling forecast is about to get freezing cold. There's really not much there to interpret. And so here we have another reference to Kafka, which that was probably a full day's rabbit hole. One, because it was so fascinating, right? So I kind of don't want to spoil it too much. Again, I didn't find anything that really led me down any great revelation other than Justin has at least passing familiarity with Kafka, which I didn't. I mean, that kind of whole philosophical mindset wasn't big on my radar before. What's going on? Let's back to the chat a little bit. I agree. Love New Mexico. Hey, it's a good place. Looking forward to it. And hopefully it hasn't been really snowed in yet by the time we get down there. You a TCU alum? No, I just really like the Frogs, man. I'm just a big fan of the Frogs. It was a gamer tag early on before I even knew that I was going to make this YouTube channel. And so I was active on Discord with that gamer tag. And then I started a YouTube channel and I didn't change my gamer tag before. So I was like, I guess we're here. Let's roll with it. And I don't know. The frog merch looks kind of cute. My wife and sister were kind of advising me on designing it. And they say it looks kind of cute. So we'll go with that. What up, Hunt to Breathe? If you guys aren't following Hunt to Breathe on TikTok, he is hilarious. His TikToks, they keep me laughing. Double Tech to Life. Hey, appreciate it, Rose. MLG Quickscope. Big baldy over there. What's it like having no hair? It's, one, appreciate the rhymes. They're very relevant to what we're doing here. But it's pretty smooth, man. It's smooth sailing, right? Try to make a little pun there. Not surprised about TTI. I don't think Chase gets enough. Come up with very solid stuff. Yeah, and I think that's intentional. He's not, and so this is where I look at Justin, right? With Justin's announcements, his social media post, directing kind of the hunt. JCB's not doing that, right? So Justin, to me, seems to want this solved sooner. Now, what does sooner mean? I don't know. Sorry, you lost you there for a second. I was saying that with Justin's posts and social media posts and activity, lost it. Okay, I got a phone call. It's from my dad. I don't know if he's watching and something happened. My mom's watching also, so maybe they can text me. But Dad, I can't. If it's important to call me again, I'll stop the stream. But if you're watching, or if not, I don't know. Anyways, now I'm distracted. I forgot what I was saying. Back to the chat. Does your yes, it does, Bobby Heron. It does include a solve. It goes. Again, I'm talking about this because I'm not 100% sold on it. I just think it makes a lot of sense. It starts in Yellowstone, right? A little bit of cross-border shenanigans. You find a really nice water silent flight. I'm using the keyword snow for there. You go from there. It directs you to the Oregon-California border, right? You find a nice lake there. You find, I'll say it, why not? Goose Lake, right? And I'll let you make your own interpretation for how I got there. And then you find Goose Lake in New Mexico, exact same lake. So if you're looking at the Netflix documentary and you're looking at all the photographs, I have, I think, 4 or 5 of those pictures. Not the exact spot, but what they represent. I have that tagged into the solve. What does this mean? There's a little picture box. What does that do? Sent cheers. Hey, Hey, cheers. I got a cup. That's pretty cool. Cheers, Rose. So yeah, there's a lake there. Let's go. TikTok's incredibly serious. Oh, my bad, serious. Oh, I see the double hyphen. What's that? What's this channel about? This channel